All right, guys, so the reason I built this Toyota was so that I could do a little bit of everything with it. A little bit of rock crawling, a little bit of high-speed off-road. I mean, not like racing or anything, but I drive on dirt roads a lot and a long distance. So I built it to do a little bit of everything. That's kind of what I do personally, is a little bit of everything. I'm not real good at anything, but I'm okay at everything. So that's why I built the truck. Well, you guys probably saw this on the Coyote tour. And I built it for the spare tire so that it would span across here and I could slide coolers underneath and put the spare tire on top. Well, what we determined on the Coyote tour was that we didn't like the spare tire right there because that gave us less room to put our gear. What I did was I stood the spare tire up and built a mount to just stand it up basically against the wall of the front of the bed right there like that. Well, once again, what that does is it eliminates space for gear. So what I did then was I built the roof rack to go all the way across the top, which you guys have probably seen in some of the other videos. But what we realized with that was that it's a gigantic sail on top of the truck. So in any headwind whatsoever, it slows you down a lot. And I don't need all that up there and I don't need all that space all the time. So kind of what I'm doing is building this as a modular system. Well, what I decided to do today was I need to build this so that I can put the spare tire on top here. That way I've got all the room for the gear in the bed and I can put the spare tire on top, and then I'm going to build a net that will go all the way up and over and across the back so that we can put all of our bedding on top of the coolers and all that stuff, and I don't have to worry about anything falling out. As I need more space, need more room, I can pull off or put on pieces as needed. What I'm going to do today with this is cut it down so that it will fit lengthways on top or crossways on the bottom. Probably should have thought about that when I built it, but I didn't, so I'm going to figure out how to make it fit both directions. First thing I need to do is get my measurement across the top here. Theoretically, it should be the same side to side. 31 and 5/8 essentially, 49 and 31 5/8. So if I'm going to put it sideways in there, this measurement doesn't necessarily, actually, yeah, that one doesn't necessarily matter. This is the one that's important, which I'm never going to make it match that 49 because right now 54. So it can't fit the long way this way and also fit this way. So what I'm gonna have to do is make it just slightly adjustable. I think what I'll do is I'll just get a piece of tubing, slide it inside of another piece of tubing, and then build my two mounts there. And then that way it can slide in and out, have two pinholes or maybe bolt holes, and bolt it into the two different sliding positions. So that'll give me a little bit of adjustment, then I can use it either direction. So first thing I'm gonna have to do is cut all of those little welds off. And then I'm gonna have to cut that whole side off and probably that whole side too, because otherwise it's not gonna be centered from side to side. And that kind of stuff drives me crazy. Well, I had to take a couple day break on the project here. Did the Spartan race the other day down in Mesquite, and then had to go to a couple birthday parties here in town. Back at it again. Today, I'm gonna finish up welding all the expanded on here, and then I've got a couple of pieces somewhere around here, right here. A couple of pieces of 1/8 wall, 1.25 inch that I'm gonna slide in here. And that'll give me the adjustment that I need. And then I'll probably put one screw in here just to hold it in place. And then I can adjust it in and out to do both sides, top or bottom rack on the Toyotas. I gotta figure out exactly the distances that I gotta mount everything on there. So one thing I always prefer to do rather than measure is actually mock up. These are going to rest on the crossbar on top right there. And I want to make sure that they're parallel and that everything sits on there just right. So I just got a piece of scrap stuck in here and then made sure that it was all sitting level and flat and the same. Now I just got to weld it all together and maybe put a brace or something on there. I'll see what it looks like when I'm done, and then I can slap it on there and see if it fits. It fits, so that's good. Sits on there just like that. Obviously I got to retouch up all this. My brackets I made for the other rack didn't work like I wanted. But yeah, fits in there basically flush. Doesn't need to be perfect, but yeah, then I'll just run some hose clamps around here to hold everything in there, and then I can pull it down and put it on the bars I'm standing on, and it'll go crossways across. The spare tire will fit on there. Gonna finish welding that up, plug this hole, get everything cleaned up, make sure it fits the other way, and should be good to go. Just get some paint on it, call it good. Works the other way just like I want it to also. Lays on here just like that on the lower rack, just like it did the upper one. Now I just gotta trim these off, put another piece of round tube all the way across there, give it some more stability, and we'll be sitting pretty good. And then I'm gonna remove this. This was super temporary as a spare tire mount for when we did the Coyote tour. But as you can see, it's starting to kind of twist the bed rail right there. And it was always rubbing on the window right there because that bed, the top of the bed isn't above the center of the tire, it's actually below it. So when you put the torque on it, it would pull it towards the window. So this way I can use it as a rack for an upper or a lower, whatever I want to do, move it back and forth, whatever suits my needs. Well, I got the rack done and updated and adapted. Just got it all painted. I wanted to do it with the Raptor liner. This is the stuff I've been using on my truck, the outside and all the bumpers and everything. Really, really easy to use. I've loved it so far. As long as you do the prep really well, it works great. It sticks great, it's super hard. It doesn't come off, but if you don't prep it right, it's gonna come off. So that's the key to doing that stuff right, is the prep, and it's incredibly inexpensive. A 6-quart, I think, or 6-liter jug of it, I think runs, I think it's like $130, and that's enough almost to do an entire vehicle. I think 8 liters would be enough to do an entire, at least 4-door Toyota. And then I was about a liter or 2 per bumper to do, and then this rack, the first time I did it, I was a liter into it, but I didn't have the time to do that before I left on this trip, so I just used this stuff. It's just the Rust-Oleum truck bed coating. It's not near as durable, but I really like how it looks. It's just kind of textured, not a lot, just a little bit of texture on it, but it seems to be pretty good. It seems to be hardened up really well, really easy to spray. It does come out really, really fast though, especially when it's a brand new can, but you're gonna get runs really easy. So hold it way back and make sure you're moving a lot. Otherwise you will get runs on it. So.